Hello students, in this lecture of automobile engineering, we will study about clutch in automobile. What is clutch? This is a part of unit number 2 and we will try to understand the clutch. So in this picture, you will see the location of the clutch. Here you will see this is nothing but the clutch which is operated by the pedal. So let us see what are the contents of this unit number 2. We will learn here what are the functions of clutch and what is the necessity of the clutch. After that, requirement of the clutch. After that, classification of the clutch, working principle of the clutch. After that, there are different types of clutch. Out of that, we will learn about construction and working of single plate clutch. So single plate clutch is there, that is very important. Single plate clutch. After that, we will study about construction and working of multiple plate clutch. After that, there is a centrifugal clutch. So these are three types of clutches: single plate clutch, multiple plate clutch and centrifugal clutch. Let us see the introduction to powertrains. In last lecture we have seen what is a transmission system, and transmission system is also called as a powertrain. So let us review that. A transmission system uses clutch, gearbox, propeller shaft and differential gear. These are the four important components of the transmission system or power trains, and these are used to transmit power from engine to the road wheels. The power may be transmitted to a rear or front or all four wheels depending on the drive used. So what these components are doing? The clutch and gearbox. Clutch and gearbox varies the ratio of torque output to the torque input. The propeller shaft transmit final torque to the rear axle from the gearbox, and differential gear equally distributes the final torque between the road wheels. So this way, this is nothing but regarding the clutch, gearbox, propeller shaft and differential gear, which are nothing but the important component, plays a vital role in powertrains. What is clutch? Before that, you will see the figure of automobile. Here there is an engine and here there is a gearbox. Between that engine and gearbox there is a location of this clutch. Along with that, you will see here differential, the propeller shaft, the rear axle and the front axle. So what is the clutch is doing? What is clutch? A device that used to engage and disengage the engine from the transmission system. It is called as a clutch. In the transmission system, the system by which the power developed by the engine is transmitted to the road wheels to propel the vehicle. So this way, this is nothing but the definition of the clutch. After that, what is the principle of clutch? Principle of operation of the clutch. It operates on the principle of friction. So friction that we have studied in engineering mechanics. So that concept is utilized in operation of the clutch. How? When two surfaces are brought in contact and are held against each other due to friction between them, they can be used to transmit power. If one is rotated, then other also rotate due to friction. Okay. One surface is connected to the engine and other to the transmission system of the automobile. Thus, clutch is nothing but a combination of two friction surfaces. So clutch is a combination of two friction surfaces. So this way, this is the principle of clutch. In clutch, there are two terms very widely used. Clutch disengage means what, and clutch engage means what. Clutch disengage is also called as a clutch when the clutch pedal is pressed. So the clutch is disengaged when starting the engine, shifting the gear, stopping the vehicle and idling the engine. In these four conditions, this operation clutch disengaged is employed. So clutch engage means when the clutch pedal is released. When the clutch pedal is released, then there is a clutch engaged. So this way, these are the two important terms. After that, let us see function of the clutch. What is the first? Starting and warming of the engine. To engage the first gear, to start moving the vehicle from the rest, to facilitate gear shifting easily without noise and damage, to stop the vehicle by applying the brakes, to allow the engine taking load without shock and jerk as well as gradually, to run the engine in idle conditions. So these are the different functions of the clutch. So let us see requirement in the clutch. What are the requirements of the clutch? First requirement is torque transmission. The clutch must be able to transmit maximum torque of the engine. Second is gradual engagement. The clutch should engage gradually to avoid sudden jerk. Next is heat dissipation. The clutch should be able to dissipate large quantity of heat which is generated during the clutch operation due to friction. So heat dissipation capacity. Dynamic balancing. The clutch should be dynamically balanced. This is particularly required in case of high-speed engine clutches. What is dynamic balancing? That we have studied in theory of machines. Size. The clutch should be as small as possible so that it occupies minimum space. Next requirement is vibration damping. The clutch should have suitable mechanism to damp vibrations and to eliminate noise produced during the power transmitted. Next is inertia. The clutch rotating parts should have minimum inertia. Clutch free pedal play to reduce effective clamping load on the carbon thrust bearing. This should be the requirement. Ease of operation. As clutch transmits higher torque, its disengagement should not tiresome the driver. So these are the requirements that should be there inside the clutch. Let us see how the clutches are classified. Clutches are classified into two categories. One is called positive clutch and second one is called friction clutch. Friction clutch is having three types: plate or disc clutch, cone clutch and centrifugal clutch. Plate clutches are of two types. These are the two types: single plate clutch and multiple plate clutch. So this is the complete classification of clutch. So what is first? Positive clutch. Positive clutch is the first type. This is a figure of positive clutch in which you will see the square jaw clutch or a spiral jaw clutch. So these are the two structures of positive clutch. So what it means? In this type of clutch, the engaging clutch surface interlock to produce rigid joint. It produces rigid joint. They are suitable for situations requiring simple and rapid disconnection. Although they must be connected while shafts are stationary and unloaded. The jaw may be square jaw type or spiral jaw type. They are designed empirically by considering compressive strength of the material. What are the advantages? They are simple, no heat generated, no slip and compact, and they are having low cost. One disadvantage is there: they must be connected when the shaft is unloaded. So this is nothing but the disadvantage of positive clutch. Next is this positive clutch is also called as a dog clutch. Another name to this positive clutch is a dog clutch. So after that we will study what is meant by friction clutch. As the name suggests, friction clutches work on the basis of frictional force developed between the two or more surface in contact. Friction clutches are usually over the jaw clutches due to their better performance. There are two types of friction clutches. One is called dry clutch and second one is called wet clutch. So what is the difference between these? One is called dry clutch and second one is called wet clutch. As this name suggests, when the oil is not applied on the clutch surface, or the clutch is not sinked or drawn in oil during its working, then it is called as a dry clutch. This type of clutch are single plate clutch, multiple plate clutch, centrifugal clutch, cone clutch. These are the examples of dry clutch. While what is meant by wet clutch? This type of clutch is work when it is sinked in oil, hence it is called wet clutch. The different forms of wet clutch are fluid valve flywheel or multiply clutch. So this is the difference between dry clutch and wet clutch. This is a construction of automobile single plate clutch. You will see there are three components. Number one is flywheel, which is bolted to the crankshaft. At the center you will see the clutch disc or a friction disc splined to the transmission input shaft, and third component you will see here pressure plate, which is bolted to the flywheel, applies the spring force to the clamp, the friction disc to the flywheel. After that, here you will see releasing bearing. Throwout bearing also it is called, allows to push on rotating clutch fingers. After that, release force, it pushes bearing to release the rotating clutch. So at the center of this flywheel you see the pilot bushing or bearing in the center of the flywheel or the crankshaft, which supports the end of the input shaft. So this is a construction of single plate clutch. What are the components? There are two components. One is called primary component, secondary components. So flywheel, clutch disc, pressure plate, release bearing. These are the primary components. Pilot bearing, release fork and slave cylinder. These are the secondary components. So here you will see there is a flywheel, clutch disc at the center, clutch cover. After that there is a clip, release bearing. After that clutch release fork, clutch release bearing hub, and this way. These are the various components. Let us see what is the working of this type of single plate clutch. It has only one clutch plate which is mounted on the splines of the clutch shaft. That's why it is called single plate clutch. So this is a sketch of a single plate clutch. You will see here there is a clutch plate with a friction lining. So how it works? It is having two operations, when the clutch is engaged and when the clutch is disengaged. Okay. So this way, this is nothing but in short the working of single plate clutch. After that, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Simple construction, heat dissipation is fast, maintenance is easy, overhauling is easy. This way, these are the advantages. Then torque transmission capacity is less lining life, less load capacity, gear changing speed is less. These are some of the disadvantages. After that, multiple plate clutch. You will see there are different number of multiple plates. Large torque is multiple clutch is used when large torque is to be transmitted in, for example, heavy vehicles and machine tools. It is having compact construction is required like scooters and motorcycles. After that, let us see working of it is work like a single plate clutch. You will see here there is a friction plates at the different friction plate or clutch plates, and it is separator plates or pressure plates here. So here there is a clutch pedal. So this way you can read this the working of multiple plate clutch. What are the advantages that are also given? Torque mechanism capacity is more. Its size can be kept constant. Lining life is more. For same torque capacity, its size can be taken small. Construction is complex. Heat dissipation is slow. Maintenance is difficult. These are some of the disadvantages. Single plate clutch, multiple plate clutch. This is the difference. Torque transmission capacity is less. Torque transmission capacity is high. Heat dissipation is fast. Heat dissipation is slow. Lining life is less. Lining life is more. So this way we can differentiate by these points between these two types of clutch. After that, diaphragm clutch. Here you will see here there is a diaphragm spring. This clutch is similar to the single plate clutch, except diaphragm spring is used instead of coil spring for exert pressure on the pressure plate. So this way, this is nothing but the principle of working of diaphragm clutch. So these are some of the points. Release lever is not required because this clutch, instead of coil spring, the diaphragm spring is used. The diaphragm spring is provides the series of lever. So this way, these are some of the points you can watch here. After that, there is a construction of centrifugal. Due to time limit, I am trying to finish it in a very short duration time. 15 minutes is the time limit. A centrifugal clutch is a clutch that uses centrifugal force to connect to concentric shaft with the driving shaft. So here you will see there is a spring at this end here. Friction linings and shoes are attached like this. After that, as the speed of the shaft increases, the centrifugal force on the shoes increases. When the centrifugal force is less than the spring force, the shoes remain in the same position as when the driving shaft was stationary. But when the centrifugal force is equal to the spring force, the shoes are just floating. So this way it works. It is having certain advantages and disadvantages. This type of mechanical clutch is automatic, so no kind of control mechanism is necessary. Centrifugal clutch is fairly cheap. So there are certain disadvantages. You can read that by stopping the slide. So these are some of the references. You can have that one. Thank you very much.